Hi everybody, it's Deborah from PeopleLovingAnimals.com. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching my video today. Today we're going to talk about how to keep your dog safe on Halloween. Halloween obviously can be a very fun holiday, and it's fun for the dogs too, you know, especially if you have a young dog and they're having fun with the kids and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, every year terrible things happen to pets on Halloween. They get lost, they get run over by a car, they run away and are never found again, they eat things that they shouldn't. All kinds of things can happen. So I just would like to take a few minutes to go over some ways that you can just kind of prepare ahead of time so that your dog is safe. I'm also doing a video for cats, and so I'll link them both together in case you have a dog and a cat. So let's go ahead and get started. If you have not been here before, my name is Deborah. I own this website called PeopleLovingAnimals.com, and we're going to use the post called Halloween Safety for Dogs to guide us through this video. I'm not going to read you the post, I'm just going to use it as a guide for the video, but I will give you a link to the post, and anything that we talk about, everything will be in the description. So in this post, we're going to talk about 7 Halloween safety tips for dogs. We're also going to talk about dog Halloween costume safety. It's important. I know it's fun, but hear me out. And we're also going to talk about the importance of dog training before Halloween. Okay, we'll try not to make it too long, but I want to make sure that I just want to make sure that I cover these things. So here are 7 tips to keep your dog safe. First of all, keep candy out of reach. Now, sometimes I don't think people realize the seriousness of this. There are certain foods that are toxic to dogs and cats, and I'm going to give you a link in the description box. You're going to be able to get a printable list of foods that are toxic for dogs and cats. I always tell people to print it, put it on the fridge, especially if you have kids, so that everybody in the house knows what the cat or the dog cannot eat. But I tell a sad story in my post, and I'm going to share it here with you. When I was a teenager, I had a dog named Peppy, a little poodle, and my boyfriend bought me one of those little heart-shaped boxes of chocolates for Valentine's Day. And we left the house one night and we come home, and Peppy has eaten almost all of that little box of chocolates, and then he threw up, okay? I'm telling you, very shortly after, the dog went blind and he died of kidney failure. You know, so again, I don't mean to be dramatic, scary, sad, whatever, but I tell that story to help people to understand how serious it is. Things can be toxic to cats, or dogs and cats. So, you know, be careful. The big bowl of Halloween candy you got, you know, for trick-or-treaters, your kids come home with all this candy, and not even the night itself. You know, my brother and I, we would make a killing on Halloween. We'd have like a grocery bag full of candy, and we would be eating it for weeks, you know. So just make sure that your kids understand and that everybody understands that the dog and the cat they're not allowed to have any candy. It really is important, because it really is dangerous for them. So, like I said, I'm going to give you a link to go ahead and request that printable list. Also, be careful about the Halloween decorations you're putting out. Like if you have lit candles, lit pumpkins, any decorations that have an electrical cord, especially if your dog is a puppy, if they're young, you got to be careful of that, because, you know, whenever you decorate for Halloween or any holiday, after it's done, just look around and say, okay, what is not good for the dog here? You know, like, especially if you have a young dog, just take a look around what could be dangerous, because, you know, especially if it's something new, you know, if it's something new, the dog's going to want to check it out, you know, they're going to be curious. So just be careful about that. The third tip is consider your dog's reaction to visitors in the doorbell. You know, if you have trick-or-treaters and the doorbell is constantly ringing and there's visitors coming, it can be very stressful for dogs. It can be very stressful for some dogs, and it can be super mega fun for other dogs, but the super mega fun ones, they can get overexcited, they can jump on people, they can, you know, hurt a kid, you know, not intentionally, they can bolt out the door. So you just gotta say, you know, how's my dog handling this, okay? Now, if your dog is frightened by this, or if you have an elderly dog, you might want to put them in a quiet room, maybe the laundry room, a mud room, or a bathroom. Put them in there, give them their bed, give them a toy, a chew toy, give them, you know, food and water, treats, whatever. And I also suggest putting soft music on in there if you can, because if they have music on, then they can't hear every little noise that's happening like out in the living room, right? So just, just make sure they're okay. And even if you think, oh, my dog's not scared, they're not scared, just remember that there's so much chaos, there's so many things going on. The door is going to be open constantly. And, also, you don't want any kids giving the dog candy. Like, you just got to plan ahead and just say, okay, during this whole evening of whatever you're doing, we have to make sure that we're keeping an eye on the dog and that the dog is safe, okay? I was saying in my post that I had a little miniature dachshund named Maggie years ago, and when my husband and I would go to work, I would leave a radio on for her every day, and my father used to make fun of me over it, and I said, well, I don't want her barking when we're not at home. I don't want her, pissing off the neighbors. I don't want her to be upset, and if you have the radio on, then she can't hear every little noise. She can't hear, cars stopping or honking, or car doors slamming, kids walking by. It just kind of muffles the sounds for them. And I just think it's helpful. If you do have a fearful dog, I'm going to give you a link to my post called Help Your Fearful Dog. It includes a video. I'll give you a link to that. So if you feel like your dog is, kind of a fearful dog, you might want to check that out and see if you can maybe give your dog some help with that, because it's a terrible condition to be in, if you're scared all the time. Make sure your dog isn't getting stressed out. Don't forget about your dog during the chaos of Halloween. Make sure you're checking on them often. Make sure they aren't showing any signs of stress, like pacing, panting, whining, or even trying to hide or to get out. There is a dog calming aid, pheromone spray or collar. I'll give you the link to see those on Amazon. They help to reduce stress. They help to calm a dog. You can also find some dog calming products, but please consult your veterinarian, especially if you have a dog who is on medication, or if you have an older dog. Always just ask the vet before you get that stuff for your dog and make sure that it's okay. But that post I'm going to give you about fearful dogs, that's going to help you. And I'm pretty sure that post also has a free tutorial from professional dog trainer Doggy Dan about how to help a dog with anxiety. So again, if your dog is like this, you might kind of get that help by accident by clicking on this Halloween video. Also, make sure your dog doesn't get out. Even if they're allowed to go outside without a leash normally, Halloween night is not a good time for your dog to be running free. They can get overly excited. They can jump on people. They can jump on kids. They can get lost. They can get hit by a car. Just remember, Halloween night is different. There's people around, there's all kinds of activities and stuff. But just, again, realize that the door's going to be open constantly if you're having trick-or-treaters. You could put the dog in a quiet room, or you could put up a baby gate depending on how your house is, if you could put up a baby gate so the dog can't, bolt for the door. I'll give you a link for some baby gates on Amazon if you want to try that. Also, your dog should be wearing identification, and they should be wearing identification all the time, either on their collar or on their harness. By the way, I do suggest harnesses for dogs instead of collars, because over time, if a dog is constantly pulling on a leash and they have a collar, they can get Claps trachea, and it can be fatal. I had a little miniature dachshund named Taz who suffered terribly from that. So just as a side note, get a harness for your dog instead of a collar, okay? But there is a place called pettags.com. I'm not affiliated with them, but they're an inexpensive place where you can get a little pet tag. They make them like the shape of mill bones or whatever. Little pet tag with your pet's name on it and your phone number. So minimally, make sure that your pet is wearing that ID. You can also have your dog microchipped if you have it already or consider it. But I just want to share one thing with you. When I got my current cat Whiskers about 3 years ago, I asked my vet about, should I get him microchipped? And she said, yeah, it's a great idea, because if the cat's ever lost, if somebody will be kind enough to turn him in to the SPCA or their local vet's office, then yeah, we would scan them for the chip and we'd be able to contact you. She said it's great. But she also said one of the bad things about it is people will sometimes get their pets microchipped and then they forget all about it, and then they move 1 or 2 or 3 times, and then the dog or the cat gets lost and their contact information is not updated. So just keep that in mind. mind, if you already have your pets microchipped, or if you're going to, make sure that you always keep your contact information updated on that microchip. And the vet said it's so sad, you know, they're lucky enough that somebody took the dog or the cat to the SPCA, but they can't reunite with them anyway because the owner's contact information wasn't up to date. So consider that. But just, you know, for Halloween, all the time, I think, if you have a cat that goes outside, and all dogs, I think, should have their name and phone number, your phone number on them at all times. The seventh tip is take your dog out before your neighborhood trick-or-treating hours. You know, if you take your dog out for supper every day or after supper, or you take them for a walk or whatever, try to get them outside to do their business and get back home before all the chaos starts, okay? Because you don't want to have a yard full of kids and trick-or-treaters, and you're trying to get the dog to go to the bathroom. And, you know, if your dog is kind of scared by everything, you know, let them get outside, do their business, come back in, so that if they want to be in a quiet room, they can. You're not trying to let the dog out with a bunch of kids outside, right? Even if you don't have like a ton of trick-or-treaters, if you have people over to the house, you know, I don't know, just take them outside first, let them do their business and be done with it, so that you're not putting them in a position to be frightened by anything. Now, I have a longer video about the dog Halloween costumes, and I'm going to give you a link to that, but professional dog trainer Doggy Dan, if you've been here before, you've heard me talk about him. He's the dog trainer that I recommend pretty much on all of my dog training and puppy training videos. He did a free tutorial called, "Is It Cruel to Dress Up Your Dog for Halloween?" I'm going to give you a link to that. It's a free tutorial, and I also did a video about it, and it talks about all the dangers of dressing your dog up and putting a costume on your dog. I also have a post called Best Dog Halloween Costumes. It includes a video. I'll give you the links. So go ahead and watch that tutorial, read my post, watch the video. There's a lot of things that can be really dangerous, really uncomfortable, downright scary for some dogs. Don't ever put a mask on your dog. You always have to make sure the dog can move in the costume, that they can breathe in the costume, that they aren't freaked out by the costume. There's just so many things. I say err on the side of caution and don't dress up the dog. You know, you think your dog likes it. They don't. You know what I mean? They don't. And so, you know, just please go ahead and at least watch the video or read Doggy Dan's tutorial about that, okay? Now, Doggy Dan actually brings up a good point in that he did again, a free tutorial called I can't even read it. The Scary Reality Behind Foregoing Dog Training. I'm trying to read the post. I don't have my glasses on. But he talks about, you know, on Halloween night, like everything I'm talking about, there's chaos, there's kids, is the dog jumping on people, is he, you know, he's going to hurt a kid, like all these things. If you don't have good dog training in place ahead of time, you're not going to be able to control your dog on Halloween or any other, you know, sort of thing. So this is a good time to just consider dog training. You don't want your dog to be overexcited. You don't want them to be aggressive. Some dogs, if they're afraid, they will react with aggression. You know, they'll bite, they'll nip, they'll growl if they're afraid by what's happening, if they feel cornered, if they feel like they have to protect the yard and they have to protect the house, and all these people and kids are descending. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a good idea just to review some dog training techniques and make sure that you've got control of your dog, not only on Halloween night, but always. I talk a little bit more about this in the post. You can read it, but I will give you the link to Doggy Dan's tutorial called "The Scary Reality Behind Foregoing Dog Training," and it talks specifically about Halloween and how you need to have your dog trained and under control. And again, not always, not just on Halloween, but always. So have fun and be safe. Halloween is one of my favorite childhood memories. My brother and I are only 14 months apart, and so every year we would go trick-or-treating together, and we would walk for miles, and you know, my parents would take us to the village or wherever we lived, and we would walk the sidewalks, and our parents would actually follow behind us in the car, and so we were kind of on our own, but not really, because Mom and Dad were watching. And I'm telling you, we would come out with a suitcase full of candy. We would just have so much candy, and it was so fun. And we would sometimes pick costumes like that went together. Like one year he went as Darth Vader and I was C-3PO. you know, that kind of stuff. But it was just so fun. So I really hope that you and your family and your pets have a really fun time on Halloween. But make sure that everybody is safe. I'm going to give you some more links. Halloween safety for cats. The ASPCA has a nice post called Your Guide to a Pet Safe Halloween. And the American Kennel Club has a post called Halloween Safety Tips for Dog Owners. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the links to all of those. Also, a little bit about Doggy Dan. I promote him all the time. He's my number one pick for dog training. He has an online dog training website called theonlinedogtrainer.com. He's got puppy, it's all video based, and you actually get to see Doggy Dan training dogs and working with their owners. He's got fantastic puppy training programs, and he also has a ton of free stuff. He's got a ton of free tutorials and blog posts and everything. So he's just really good. I really support him, and I support his training because it is effective and inexpensive and kind. Okay, so again, thank you so much for joining me. I donate to animal charities. I am an affiliate for certain products and services that I promote or mention on my website or my YouTube channel. And if you make a purchase through some of those links, not all of them, I will get a small commission. And I donate 10% of my earnings to animal charities. So if you would like to, please go ahead and share this post with your friends who have a dog. Share the other videos and posts about cats if you know people who have a cat. And just let's spread the word. Get people prepared. You know, we got some time before Halloween. And just prevention is the best medicine, right? Let's just prevent anything bad from happening. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found today's video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a like. It really does help YouTubers when you do that. And go ahead and subscribe if you'd like to hear more about pet care, pet health, and pet training. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Deborah from peoplelovinganimals.com. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.